Testing. How are you guys doing, guys? We are live. I gotta start this stream. What's up, everybody? No sound. Yes, there is sound. Press 1 if you hear me. Press 2 if you don't. Press 3 if the thing is messed up. Hake is whispering. Indeed, I was. What's up, guys? It is 9:06 a.m. Is the stream going? 9:06 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. And I am late, and it's my fault. What a mess. Yeah, the stream is going. No audio. Waiting for delay to catch up, says Nicolas. Let me just double check here. It should be going. Yep. And facts. I am late. Proof. It's my fault. Nice. Sound is on now. Thank you, guys. So, we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey Monday show. You guys down for happy to have a loosey-goosey, fun Monday show? Bob Dole died. Rest in peace. 98 years old. I told my parents to vote for him. I think he was opposing Bill Clinton at one point, back before I could vote. There's a major attack on churches and Christians and Christmas. Well, some of you guys don't care about the Christmas part, but it's an attack on Christians, and it's clear, right? You're 6 minutes late, Hake. Indeed, I am. I have a throwback clip that somebody tagged me on of the criminal running his mouth, and the judge tells him to shut his mouth, and Misty Moreton told me not to be telling guests or callers to shut up, because I tell them to shut up, and I'm supposed to be running a child-friendly, family-friendly show, and so now I'm torn. I want to talk a little bit about that mass murderer, but more about the response to that mass murderer up in the Michigan high school case. Dana Nessel is a evil lesbian, not a Christian, attorney general up in Michigan. And I just want to talk about her because I got somewhat interested in just, it's like shocking to me, endlessly shocking to me, the people who get put in places of so-called power. Linda Sarsour, Sarsour, right? And anti-American commies in general. So with that, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Have you been naughty or nice?
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la. It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
It's the Hake Report,
Look at that.
the Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Had a nice weekend. Hope you did. Wow, what a weekend. I slept most of the weekend, it seems like. And I'm still honestly recovering a little bit from the illegal alien disease, which I caught. Or was it the globalist disease? The globalist disease or the illegal alien disease? Is there a difference? No more gay Santa stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I slept quite a bit. And if you're not familiar, if you're not aware already, just a little heads up. Some of you guys are asking for an update on JLP, Jesse Lee Peterson. He is continuing to rest up and recover. Maybe I got him sick. And I'm, to this day, really honestly recovering from it. I was tired over the weekend.
To this day!
And I still have, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, nasally, right? Somebody said nasally. I'm still congested. Never really had a crazy runny nose, at least not yet. Coughing a little bit in the early mornings, but minimal coughing, pretty much. I mean, I do have my halls, and been handing out halls like candy. But yeah, that is the truth. Tell us the truth, says Jim Justice. Yeah, he's recovering. I'm recovering. Toss me one, says Kickflip Chris. Indeed. I think I may need one too. These are not drugs. Nice. Good toss. You're welcome. And these are not drugs, it's halls. Enter the halls of medicine. I may be having that a little bit later. But yeah, fret not. Somebody's like, oh, Jesse's on a ventilator. No, he's at home chilling. And rightly so, honestly. Were you at 70-something years old hosting a 3-hour show plus doing 4 days of counseling, hours and hours of counseling and fallen state interviews, and then hosting conducting and leading a 2-hour church services week in and week out? I think not. And then handling business, taking care of stuff. How is white man Chris to you? He's doing well. He's doing the best of all, honestly. Doing the best of all. Nervous laugh. So anyway, let me tell you just briefly, rest in peace to Bob Dole. I remember not being that excited about him. I was more excited about Bush. I know I shouldn't have been probably, but I don't know. I liked him. Both of those Bushes. The father and the son. But it turned out that I was misguided in liking them. And in fact, even my parents and uncles and friends of family were not really real fans of them because they were not true Christians, if you will. They did not lead like true Christians in the way that Reagan was reputed to lead like a true Christian. After the divorce and the getting rid of, adding in no-fault divorce in California and being a Democrat and stuff like that, he had some mess, I understand. Well, hey, James can't like Skull and Bones. That's what they're part of, huh? Bob Dole, according to CNN, Republican Party stalwart, 3-time presidential candidate, wow, 3 times failed, has died at the age of 98. Rest in peace. He served in the Senate, so-called served, for 27 years. Wow. What good did he do in the Senate? Does anybody know? I don't know. It's hard to say that somebody did good in the Senate when they were, in fact, pushing. I mean, the Senate has gotten worse and worse and worse. Is that unfair to mention that? Was Bob Dole part of that? I don't know. Sleepy President Biden called Dole an American statesman like few in our history and a war hero among the greatest of the greatest generation. So, makes me leery about him. Makes me leery. Anybody know about him? Matt the American may know about him. He knows some history. Or some of the resident historians over there at Ragnar0321 says, Reagan gassed the hippies at Berkeley. See? Good man. Good man. Yeah, and taking care of business says, I think it's bogus speech, BS, bogus speech, that they hold the parents responsible for that shooting. That's my suspicion, too. I'm going to be talking about that. And there's also an attack on churches going on right now. I see this attack on that, and granted, he is a Crino, Christian in name only. What's that guy's name? Joel Osteen. They found $600,000, some plumber, I guess, doing repair work at a church, found $600,000 supposedly hidden inside of a wall in hundreds of envelopes, cash and checks hidden behind a wall. That's strange. Checks, too? You're not supposed to leave checks uncashed or undeposited because the money may not be there if you try to deposit it. That was in Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. There was supposedly money stolen from a safe at Pastor Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church in Houston in 2014. A plumber doing repair work at the church recently uncovered hundreds of envelopes of cash and checks hidden behind a wall. Police believe the money is tied to that 7-year-old theft. Crazy, huh? What a weird story. And they go after, the evil people are using this as an excuse to say, we need to start taxing churches. Because churches are supposed to be tax exempt. Church and state, right? Separation of church and state, which was an idea based on a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote. It's not even in the Constitution, I don't think, right? But that's very strange. Officers were called to the church November 10th to investigate the discovery, according to a statement from the Houston Police Department. Lights out is a resident troll. He hates the truth. I think he's black. Where's the money that Jesse collected for the building fund? Probably in the walls at his church. Nope, not true. Lying sleazes. They just make up stuff. Is bond tax exempt? Yes, it is. You can donate, and you can write it off from your taxes because we're doing the Lord's work, and that's not supposed to be taxed. The government hates Christians, though, and so that's a mess. Anyway, I see this because he's like an easy target, Joel Osteen. He's like the nicest guy, nice, kind of fake, really fake, I don't know. And they use this to attack the Christians. It's pretty disgusting. Anyway, I was shown this little clip from 2018 that I wanted to share with you. I hope that I have it ready. This is clip 12. I found it on YouTube. Actually, somebody tagged me on Twitter and said, I don't know, I guess it reminded him of me. Fox 8 News Cleveland, an unusual sight in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court way back in 2018. Judge orders a suspect to have his mouth taped during this sentencing. And it was just so interesting of a clip and pertinent to your experience and mine, for my callers sometimes, on the Hake Report. And again, I got yelled at by Misty for saying, shut up. You don't say shut up because you're just going to trigger them to say shut up. And then you just start telling each other to shut up. Hake, your soul patch is distracting me. I know. I've thought about cutting it off, but not ready. Yes, I'm live. Let me see. Anyway, Franklyn Williams. This is Franklyn Williams, a 32-year-old man acting like this. Accused, convicted. This is a sentencing. Oh, I do need that, Halls. Excuse me. Of 3 armed robberies in Richmond Heights, which sounds like a nice area because this is Heights, and Euclid, Ohio. I could be wrong. They call stuff Heights and it's not Heights. During his sentencing hearing, Williams would not stop talking despite more than a dozen warnings from Judge John Russo. Maybe an Italian Russo, right? I don't know. Over the course of about 30 minutes, Williams even interrupted his own attorneys. Watch this and listen, and it kind of splices together a few different parts from the course of the 30 minutes. And towards the end, you'll see the cops surrounding him if you're watching. And they tape him, but it's not very effective. And watch this.
I just met this attorney the other day.
That's fine. So here, yeah. So okay,
I came and took my cell phones yesterday, and they
Black
came
criminal.
and took all my property out my cell today.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you can talk. You got it? It's the same rules we played by while we were here in trial. Every time we were here for a pretrial. So just follow the same rules. Fair enough? So at this point, I'm going to hear from your lawyers, and that means zip it.
Nice.
That means zip it right now. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
No. Does the comment quit talking Do you understand that?
Because you're trying to take my life, Judge,
No.
and you're not letting me tell you what's going on.
Take
It's
your
not
life
fair.
for what? What do you mean your
It's
life?
not fair. You're trying to take my life.
What does that mean?
On the document.
Again, I'm going to interrupt. Mr. Williams, listen to me. If we have to, I will gag you in 1 second. So listen to me. You will get a chance to talk. I'm going to gag you in 1 second. So just listen to me. Zip it until I give you a chance to talk. You'll get a chance to talk. I am going to give you a chance to talk. Here it is again. So you said to me you understand this comment. Zip it. Right now.
And
Don't you let it play about me getting shot on the bus for a whole week. Let that play.
Crazy, huh?
Mr. Williams will.
Mr. Williams, be very simple to gag you. You'll get a chance to speak. So tell me.
Black women just walked in here.
Okay,
So I have not even been around.
Let's
none
go
of my
back.
peers.
I'm zipping. Anything you want to add to your insanity? And
You
the
put me on
jury
trial. That's
came
a
back with
violation
a
of the HIPAA
verdict.
law. That's a
So-
violation of the HIPAA law, Judge.
Here we go.
Hippo.
I'm going to tape it,
Put me on trial.
and then I'll
I'm
unzip it
not
when I want you to talk. Because the young lady over here can't take down everything. You know how this works. We've been in the courtroom hundreds, well, at least 50 times as we prepared for trial. I'll give him a chance to speak, it says.
Hey, take me out.
No, I'd like you to speak.
Mr. Williams, I want to make it real clear.
Cops.
If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies,
None of that, man.
you're going to have a bad
I don't
day.
want none of that.
Oh, you
Put the
clear?
tape on me, man. We done with this shit.
They should have double taped
Here's what
him.
it is.
He's still
Go back on
talking.
the record. Mr. Williams will have a chance
No,
to
it
speak.
is what it is.
And I'll be monitoring everything I say.
Go ahead. I can still hear him. What a mess. Terrible. Don't violate those hippo laws. He's sticking it to the white man, says taking care of business. And while the judge can hold him in contempt of court and add time on him for mouthing off. Yeah. He was raised by his mom, no dad, speculates ragtag army. He won't shut its mouth. Yeah. What a mess. Just spreading that hatred. Red tape should be recalled. Obviously doesn't work. Crazy, huh? That is just so wild. I just had to share that with you. That's from 2018. That the suspect, actually, I don't think he's a suspect anymore. He was convicted because that was a sentencing hearing. He was convicted of 3 armed robberies. And who knows what else he did. Throw him in jail for life. What, for having a big mouth? Max Rex? That's cruel and unusual punishment. Wow. What a mess. Spreading hatred like Hake is spreading them halls. Indeed. You guys can ban Lights Out because this guy is a liar. Lights Out is a liar. So you guys can ban him. You have my permission to ban him. I don't know if it'll do any good because some people say that it's Marcus Jones, and Marcus Jones has no respect for anybody, evil person. But he is spreading what's called libel, and being very defamatory. So you can ban him, guys. I'm just talking to the mods over there on YouTube, but the Lights Out is probably kind of like that guy that we tried to tape his mouth, we being the cops, tried to tape his mouth, and he's all, it is what it is. What a mess. Shameless evil, huh? Terrible. You guys can call in. It's 888-775-3773. But I have some more things to share with you. A white committed a mass murder. Did you know that? I'm assuming it's a normal white. I mean, it's not a normal white. A normal white does not commit a mass murder. Just like, honestly, a normal black won't do such evil either. But it's become all too typical, and it is growing amongst the culture, the degenerate culture of in America. Not of America. It's basically anti-American culture. And then the same people who are corrupting the culture are pushing even more evil. Never let a crisis go to waste, they say, right? Marx was a terrible person, says Now Guilt, or No W Guilt, maybe No White Guilt. According to Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, the parents of Ethan Crumbley. Ethan Crumbley. See, blacks? I'm talking about a white criminal. It took him doing a mass murder for me to do it, but anyway, blacks are more entertaining. That guy was kind of entertaining. That guy who was getting his face taped by the cops. Even though he only did a few armed robberies. We don't even know if he killed anybody. Was not convicted of killing anybody that I know of. But this 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, C-R-U-M-B-L-E-Y, Ethan, 15-year-old accused of fatally shooting 4 classmates, killing them, and injuring several others at Oxford High School last week. That's in Oxford Township. It's in the boonies. It's 40 miles. Well, it's kind of like boonies. It would be considered basically like pretty out there if you compare it to like America. Yeah, you can't really complain about online censorship anymore. Yeah, I can. And I can be consistent with it. So, gotcha again, LOL. Yes, I can. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me get a little bit of water. Oxford Township, they called it, this is the first I've heard of it, an exurb, instead of suburb, exurb. It's like extreme suburban. Excuse me. Because it's so far out, but it is considered like a commuter town into Detroit. That's how far out these people are. The parents of this guy have been arrested and jailed after spending part of the weekend allegedly on the run. Maybe they were on the run. Maybe they were not on the run. Seems like they were kind of on the run. They don't know. Charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, which were brought forth as prosecutors. And I'm very suspicious of prosecutors after what? George Zimmerman, which is way down somewhere else, Florida. George Zimmerman falsely prosecuted, falsely charged with murder, quote-unquote murder. Give me a break. They charged him with murder. Did you remember that? That was from 2012. Kyle Jack Bauer, John Wick, John Wayne Rittenhouse, charged with illegal homicides and with a dangerous weapon addition. Give me a break. 5 years in addition. And all kinds of, look at what they did to Darren Wilson, former officer Darren Wilson. The great, by all accounts, no, it's just water. It's water from a sports authority. It's water. I refill it, guys. Filtered water, no doubt, no less. Yeah, so I don't trust these prosecutors. And these parents, probably bad parents, but they're using the bad parents to go after the good parents and going after parents' rights. Because this is what the allegation is from the prosecutors. They alleged that the parents provided unrestricted access to the gun their son is accused of using. How is that a crime? Seems suspicious. Sleazy prosecutors. Am I not right? Granted, you want to raise your son right and your child right so that they don't commit crimes, right? Or have all this hatred in their heart. Sick, huh? Ethan Crumbley is being charged as an adult with terrorism. Excuse me, how is that terrorism? Unless it was politically motivated. Usually terrorism is politically motivated. I have pictures, I think, of these 3 mugshots. The father, the mother, and the father looks like he's my age. And the mother, too. They look like they're my age. Maybe they're my age plus or minus 5 years. They may be even younger than me. And the son is a mess. They all look terrible, to be honest. I mean, mugshots, you generally are not looking that attractive. But this is CNN. CNN headline, Michigan school shooting suspect and his parents were isolated, blah, blah, blah. Crazy, huh? He's charged with terrorism, first-degree murder, What political motivation does a 15-year-old boy have, young man? I think it's fine that they charge him as an adult for murder. His parents are just as guilty, says. I know, but I guess you could say in some form, for sure, you can say that in some form, but the way these prosecutors are doing it, they're saying, oh, unrestricted access to guns. JLP himself got a rifle at 15, and he went outside and shot a squirrel. He didn't shoot any people. They're making it a Second Amendment issue. Yeah. Very true. Democrat communist legislatures are calling for bipartisan cooperation to create meaningful gun legislation that they pretend to hope, yeah, right, they don't hope this, would prevent such tragedies. Not. They don't care about this. Give me a break. They love to exploit crises. They lick their chops when a white or when anybody commits a crazy shooting. Connecticut Democrat Senator Chris Murphy, scumbag, nowhere near this incident, by the way. This incident took place in Michigan. Michigan is way over here. I'm pointing to the top of the United States, right? In my mind. This is the top of the United States. And I guess I'll do it for you guys. And Chris Murphy from Connecticut is way over here. Connecticut, it had Newtown. Yeah, it had that Newtown Sandy Hook mass murder. I call them mass murders, not mass shootings, because the shooting is not really the issue. They pretend it is, but they're just looking at surface level. Typical Democrats and stupid idiots. Sorry, kids. I'm calling them stupid idiots. Evil people. They look at the surface. Oh, this guy was white, and he has his knee on the neck of a black. Must be racism. Oh, this guy committed a shooting, and it killed a bunch of people. Oh, we need to address gun violence. Not the evil heart of the people whose hearts you corrupted, right? You helped corrupt. You cheerlead the corruption of the hearts. Democrats do. They're for divorce. They're for same-sex imaginary marriage. They're for abortion. Abortion kills the conscience of the women so that the women are cruel to their children, and their children grow up, the children whom they do have, grow up to be criminals. Look at the black violent crime. It's horrific in the black communities where abortion is rampant. This guy doesn't care about murder and crimes in his own state. This Chris Murphy guy, Democrat, Connecticut senator, a U.S. senator trying to meddle in the gun rights of the people. He didn't care about Newtown Sandy Hook mass murder either, by the way. Remember those people went after Alex Jones for having a... OD Red Skull laughing that I said stupid idiots. They went after Alex Jones for being suspicious, right? About false flags, anyway, it's crazy. They sued him, the so-called parents of these people. He suggested universal background checks, which is more government surveillance over you, and a safe storage policy for guns as a solution this is not a solution. It's a Band-Aid, and it's not the right Band-Aid. Could garner support from across the aisle. So evil, huh? I'm going to talk about the Attorney General from Michigan. It is a lesbian, and not a Christian, by the way. But first, let me get to Robert in Kansas. He wants to talk about Joel Osteen. Robert in Kansas, how you doing? Are you there? Oh, hold on. Are you there, Robert in Kansas? I didn't press the button right, apparently.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound a little far away.
Okay, what about that? Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
All right, Hake. Well, yeah, man, filter your water or become a filter. You've been working out, or what's going on, man?
Been exercising, yeah.
You
But I have been sick for the past couple weeks here.
What about the globe? You still a glober?
Yeah, definitely a ball-tard for sure. Because I went to the ocean and I saw the horizon, and the horizon proved to me that the Earth is a big ball.
All right, man. Hey, yeah, that's what I see too. What about Trump? Do you still good on? You still like Trump or what?
Yeah, I'm surprised at all your questions.
Oh man. Okay, I'm sorry, man.
No, that's fine.
I guess the Bushes would be the last one. You were saying, you're being down about the Bushes, and I was sitting there thinking, what's his name? The son, right? He really defended marriage, right? Didn't he defend?
Yeah,
marriage?
he did have DOMA, Defensive Marriage Act. You're talking about W. Are you guys aware of that? He had the Defensive Marriage Act, which maybe it was lip service or whatever, because those people they're not fighting for that anymore. They've given up. But anyway.
And then, and then the daddy, right? The daddy Bush, didn't he like come out and be like the New World Order, like just told everybody about the New World Order? That's pretty base, dude. Like that's
kind of.
It's he's just like, hey, we're gonna have the New World Order, guys. I mean, at least he came out and said something, right?
Right.
Yeah, dude. And then taking over Babylon, of course. That was interesting.
What's that? What's that a reference to?
Like Baghdad, Iraq.
Oh, that's considered Babylon. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Hey, who knows anymore? Dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, the Joel Osteen. What did I call? Hey, yeah,
Joel Osteen.
Okay,
yeah.
You said something, and I didn't even really hear. Like I was listening, but I thought you said that there was like missing money, and then they found the money, and then the money was also claimed as like as an insurance thing.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. I did not mention anything regarding insurance, but that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, supposedly there was a crazy robbery or money gone missing in 2014, and it was reported as though it were a, what did they call it? Stolen from a safe, money stolen from a safe at his Pastor Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church back in 2014. And it may have been tied to this money that was found in a wall behind a toilet by a plumber.
That's some funny stuff, man. Have you ever looked at how Osteen, when he does his show, he's got a big globe out there with him?
I have never watched his show, so no, I have never noticed that he has a big globe. I didn't even know that he had a show.
It's like a 30-foot diameter globe he has on stage with him. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. So I guess he's a globalist.
Oh, no, I don't know what's going on. I heard one of the funniest stories I heard in a long time this morning, Hake, so I had to call in and just tell you, thanks for the laugh. If Joel Osteen hit a bunch of money up in his wall, bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't see him doing that, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Crazy.
Well, I mean, I guess
it honestly seems, that's a big church, right? It's a mega church. It seems like a corrupt person who works in the organization would have done something like that. Doesn't seem like something that the top guy would do. He would keep it at his home, If it were me, say I were a corrupt pastor, I would take it home. Wouldn't you take it home or take it to a place off campus or something? I wouldn't put it behind a toilet, especially not checks. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, theft is not a long-term plan, that's for sure.
Right.
But hey, you can only serve one, right? You can serve God or mammon, and that's from Jesus. And so, that money, man, some people with the money, that's like the thing they serve. Right. And then there's other sins and everything that people can serve that a lot of times they want the money for getting. It could be anything. It could be drinking beers, right? Right. That costs money after a while. Spending money on alcohol or whatever.
Right. So, poor people are every bit as much lovers of money and worshipers of money as rich corrupt people. In fact, they may be more guilty of it than many rich people, so-called rich people. So yeah, it's not something that they like to turn it into a class warfare thing. I see that as a communist ploy. It's kind of like calling whites racist. You call whites racist because you can never be guilty of being racist. You call the rich people lovers of money because you can never be a lover of money because you have none. But you can never be every bit as much a lover of money. It's the issue is the heart, not the physical belongings. Crazy.
I agree, Hake. Yeah, you're right on, man. So I guess, Hake, that's it. I just hope everything's going good, man, and good luck with the show.
Thank you, man.
I'll keep it. Yeah.
It's great to hear from you, Robert. Take care. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, thank you, Hake. Merry Christmas. Bye.
All right. Bye. Some super chats, guys. Base America First says 12,000 YouTube subscribers. The Hake Report just keeps getting better and better. Thank you. I appreciate it. Very nice. What's up to Luke and all you guys over there on the Facebook chat, as well as the D Live chat? Terrible. I'm looking at some speculation about the Statue of Liberty by Misty over there. And your girlfriend gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report and says, why does Congress think it's their place to draft sweeping gun legislation on a federal level for an incident that happened locally? Yeah, they should really be focused on how those gun laws are working in D.C., District of Columbia, before meddling in state and local government issues. Yeah, or the family. They want to tell you, a father, or you, a mother, how you should store your weapon and whether you should allow a 15-year-old, whether they're responsible, upstanding 15-year-olds, and then there are guys like this 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, who his thoughts plagued him. Oh my gosh. Remember that New York Times article? Let's see. Prosecutors say the parents of the 15-year-old accused of killing 4 classmates failed to act on troubling signs. The parents pleaded not guilty to involuntary manslaughter charges. The gun, this is a New York Slimes article, Failing New York Slimes by Jack Healy. The gun was an early Christmas gift from his parents, a semi-automatic 9mm Sig Sauer handgun. My new beauty, Ethan Crumbley, 15, called it, and that's a true statement. It's a beautiful gun. The day after Thanksgiving, he and his father had gone together to a Michigan gun shop to buy it. He and his mother spent a day testing out the gun, which was stored unlocked in the parents' bedroom. Fine. On Monday, when a teacher reported seeing their son searching online for ammunition, his mother did not seem alarmed. LOL, I'm not mad at you, Jennifer Crumbley texted her son. You have to learn not to get caught. A day later, the authorities say the teenager fatally shot 4 classmates in the halls of Oxford High School in suburban Detroit. It's further than suburban, 40 miles out. That's like from here to, Rancho Cucamonga almost? Or Rancho Cucamonga, which, you guys ever heard of Rancho Cucamonga? What a name, huh? That just sounds like the boonies. And it is. It's almost to the 15 freeway, which, that's way out there. It's effectively kind of what this place is. On Friday, Karen D. McDonald, Oakland County prosecutor, a woman, laid out those and other chilling details. There was something that was said. Thoughts. Okay, here it is. On the morning of Tuesday's shooting, the suspect's parents were urgently called to Oxford High School after one of his teachers found an alarming note he had drawn a note, okay, scrawled with images of a gun, a person who had been shot, a laughing emoji, and the words blood everywhere, and the thoughts won't stop. Help me. Isn't that interesting? Jesse Lee Peterson always talks about how all thoughts are lies, thoughts are wicked, they're evil. He's plagued with thoughts. I wonder if he took those drug things. You know how most of these mass murderers, I call them mass murderers, Rational Thought 83 says, Rancho? Boonies? LOL, come on, man. It used to be considered the boonies. And honestly, For us in LA, we call that the boonies. And even in San Gabriel Valley, we called it the boonies. Fontana, we used to call Fontana Fontucky. Anyway, it's considered the boonies for those of us who are in LA proper. The suburban sprawl has really spread, and now it's even further out. Like San Bernardino is not even called the boonies anymore, even though it's like 60 or 70 miles outside of LA now. Whew, wild. Anyway, blood everywhere, the thoughts won't stop, help me. Crazy, huh? So this guy listens to his thoughts. Don't do that. Parents did not want their son to be removed from school that day, did not ask him whether he had the gun with him or search the backpack he brought with him to the office. This woman, Ms. McDonald, who is a prosecutor, said the notion that a parent could read those words and also know their son had access to a deadly weapon that they gave him is unconscionable, and I think it's criminal, she said. San Bernardino, 909, shout out. What's up, PJ? He was allowed back in class. Oh my gosh, look at this woman. Let me see if I can screenshot this. This pretty lady does not belong on the prosecutor thing. That's what I say anyway. Let's see if I can screenshot this woman. Karen D. McDonald, Associated Press photograph, Oakland County prosecutor, filed involuntary manslaughter charges against the accused gunman's parents. I just dragged in a screenshot into the folder. So she's Oakland County, that's up in Michigan, not to be confused with Oakland, California. Not a county. Crazy, huh? But the shooting, I read about it. I was reading about it on the far left Enemies of America, Wikipedia. And yeah, look, there she is. She doesn't belong prosecuting anything. She belongs at home or something. Lawyers/liars. Am I right? And you can say bad parents, but these people are going after your guns, your gun rights, your American rights. The Christians are going after the Christians. Some sick stuff. Oh, what a mess. Shannon Smith is a female defense lawyer, says the gun was actually locked. There's far more going on than what the court has been made aware of. So, I don't know. Young men, 15 years old, are awfully sneaky. And parents are at a loss. Right? Anyway, I appreciate your girlfriend. Great super chat. Let me get to this story of they're not just exploiting this school shooting. The state of Michigan is being exploited by way of their own, vote. They voted for this woman by a small margin, maybe like 2%. But it's crazy. Dana Nessel. I have some photographs of this evil woman. The lesbian state attorney general is offering to help with this case, this shooting. Look at her. Oh my gosh. Horrific. She's the lesbian state attorney general for Michigan. Stonewalled investigation into 2020, as I recall, by the way. According to the Gateway Pundit, she allegedly sent a threatening, intimidating letter to this journalist, described as a journalist by the Gateway Pundit anyway, Shane Trejo, to expose alleged voter shenanigans. Hashtag Detroit leaks. Back a year ago, I think. Detroit leaks reporting showed Detroit poll workers, Detroit, Michigan, very corrupt, black, crime-ridden area. Detroit poll workers, according to this Detroit leaks Shane Trejo reporting, according to him, Detroit poll workers were trained how to lie, trained on how to handle ballot challenges from Trump supporters, told to call 911 on any challengers, and to use the China virus as COVID, right? They call it COVID, the globalists, as an excuse to deny poll challengers access to view the ballots as they were being counted and tabulated. Huh. Evil woman, Dana Nessel. According to Wikipedia, Dana Nessel is the second openly lesbian person elected attorney general of a state in the United States. Every state in the United States has a state attorney general. That is the top law enforcement officer of that state. You know who else was a state attorney general in California? Cackling Kamala Harris. Sick, huh? Maura Healey of Massachusetts was the first. Look at that. Lesbian marriage equality lawyer elected Michigan attorney general, according to the Washington Blade. Anytime you want to see stuff that seems, they call it homophobic, or they call it anti-Semitic, just look at stuff that advocates for the homosexuals or the radical liberal Jews. It's crazy. There's another article from the Israel Times. Since we're on this, right? How Judaism inspires the first openly gay politician in Michigan state office. And it's her. Crazy, huh? That's the Times of Israel. Oh my gosh. That almost seems like a smear. Almost seems like a smear on Judaism. I don't know. Excuse me. Crazy. But anyway, this second openly lesbian person elected attorney general of a state after Maura Healey of Massachusetts. Massachusetts was extremely pro-gay. That's over in New England, Massachusetts. Mass Resistance was a Christian organization, I think. Maybe to this day they are a Christian organization fighting against same-sex marriage. But Massachusetts was the first state to push same-sex marriage, so-called marriage, onto its people. Little New England state of Massachusetts, one of the smallest states in the Union. Terrible, huh? First openly LGBTQ person, this Dana Nessel woman, elected to statewide office in Michigan. This is my hit piece on Dana Nessel. She is also the first Jew to be elected Attorney General of Michigan. Wikipedia's words, not mine. Crazy, huh? Times of Israel. How Judaism inspires the first openly gay politician in Michigan state office. Because I guess they no longer care about God. They just care about remembering the Holocaust. According to something I read from, I think it was a poll pushed by, put out or shared on the Telegram of Real Vincent James, that they actually care more about remembering the Holocaust than remembering God. Setting up a hate crimes division, this woman did. Fighting for LGBTQ rights and helping immigrants. Dana Nessel says she stands up for people like her grandparents who fled the Holocaust. That's the subtitle of this article out in 2019 of how Judaism inspires the first openly gay, so-called gay, politician in Michigan state office. So expect not to have actual justice in anything that this woman is involved with, right? What a mess. Dana Nessel. She was part of the case in which the Supreme Court, the so-called Supreme Court of the United States, forced so-called same-sex marriage down the throats of Americans, right? Remember that? Same-sex marriage pushed by the Supreme Court. They presumed to redefine marriage. That was the Supreme Court, including John Roberts, who's a so-called Republican, a so-called conservative on the Supreme Court. Give me a break. In 2016, Dana Nessel founded Fair Michigan, a nonprofit organization, works to prosecute imaginary hate crimes against the LGBTQ community, which does not exist. A community is made up of families. They're not families. They're not. They wish they were. She didn't shoot up the place, the kid did. Oh, this guy. What a mess. National Association of Attorneys General says Nessel lives in southeastern Michigan with her wife, Alana McGuire, and her twin sons, Alex and Zach. Oh my gosh, her sons look just like her. I think that her sons are related to her. which means that they're not related to the woman unless by a brother or something. Don't those boys look a lot like her? Those are twin boys. Crazy. And speaking of those boys, well, I'll get to her boys. She's a Grinch. She hates Christmas, and she's spreading the hatred of Christmas and Christianity onto her boys. But by the way, just this past November or late October, she got drunk and was wheelchaired, proof that she's a lesbian, out of a football game. She posted a shameless Facebook post, and this is while being Attorney General. She posted a shameless Facebook post 10 days later, November 10th, 11 days later, right? Something like that. After an October 30th tailgate party in which, well, she pretended that it's no big deal that the top law enforcement officer of the United States, not the United States, of the state of Michigan, a 52-year-old so-called married woman, lesbian, with those teenage twin sons, she got sloppy drunk in public at a college football game, and she admitted to eating, she called it eating, 2 Bloody Marys, because she said, oh, it's basically a salad, I thought. Somebody pointed out, come on, 2 Bloody Marys does not make you wheelchair drunk. I've never heard of being wheelchair drunk until I heard of this story. Dana Nessel, I have a picture of her being all drunk with her hat, a Michigan State hat over her head. Oh, sitting in front of football fans. Look at her. She posted this herself on Facebook. And this is her apology that she posted on Facebook, which is not an apology. She claimed to be smart for having a designated driver, DD, and bragged, I went home, fell asleep on the couch, and my wife, this is a woman talking, threw some blankets on me and provided me with some water and Tylenol for what she knew would be a skull-crushing hangover the next day. Best wife ever. What a sicko, huh? After downplaying and diminishing her responsibility, or lack thereof, typical woman, right? She apologized, especially to the guy behind her, saying, some things you can't unsee. What is she talking about? Sounds vulgar, right? Very unladylike. Why do women talk out of both sides of their mouths? Well, on one hand, they don't want this publicity, and they pretend to be caring about other people. On the other hand, they scream for attention and get cruel and nasty. Liars, evil. And then dummies, sorry kids, dummies call her an honest politician because she's so real. Not. This lesbian lawyer officiated a gay wedding with no masks a couple months back, like normal free people should do, right? But it's rules for thee and not for me. She doesn't care. Play this clip 11. Trump was campaigning for Republicans, and then I will play a little bit of music and get to your calls. He was campaigning for Republicans in Georgia, and this was last December of 2020. And he said this, Merry Christmas. Enjoy from President Trump a year ago.
Let me begin by wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. Remember the word? Remember? We started 5 years ago, and I said, you're going to be saying Christmas again, and we say it proudly again, although they'll be trying to take that word again out of the vocabulary. We're not going to let them do that.
Nice. Isn't that so refreshing? Oh, my gosh. Don't you miss having Trump as the president? Breitbart News reported Nessel responded to Trump's Christmas greeting in a now-deleted tweet by writing that her son was devastated when the store employee said Merry Christmas to them. What a psycho, huh? I remember the first time this is a quote from her tweet that she deleted. I remember the first time I was at a store with my son, an employee said Merry Christmas to us. My son looked devastated and asked, are we the only people who don't celebrate Christmas? I answered, no, and we are just as American as everyone else. Glad Joe Biden knows that. Such a nasty woman, huh? And she quote tweeted that clip that was shared by The Hill. That was from The Hill on Twitter. She got backlash. She deleted the tweet. And then she said, Happy Holidays is now the universally accepted term. Saying Happy Holidays this time of year does not denigrate Christianity. No, you do, woman. It simply acknowledges and respects the great diversity of our nation and includes each and every one of us who call ourselves proud Americans. She may call herself about that. She may call herself that, but that's not what she is. Anyway, I will be getting to your calls. Kim, a first-time caller in Michigan, wants to talk about the Michigan shooter, which is great. But first, I have to share with you another beautiful song. This is from the, I've been playing that Lujo Records 2004 All I Want for Christmas compilation. Last week I played it. I have a few more songs to play for you this week. This is from a group called The Evaluation. The track is entitled Full Beards, Angel Wings, Car Doors, and Department Stores. It's a mouthful. Enjoy, and I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2, guys. Hang tight.
West, far west on 2nd Street, we make department store deliveries before dawn. Just before dawn, they lived on too many diet dinners and cigarettes. They lived for far too long. They lived for far too long. On long days and late nights, we live for far too long. If I can't tell you what I want, I'll tell you what you don't know. And if you don't know, you can't know what I know. The truth you don't know, and the sweet tea and summer nights, the whispers and sail winds. True through the endless night. Wake up soon, but don't wake up tonight. We'll see you through. We'll see you through this long late night. We'll see you through. We'll see you through this long late night. We'll see you through. We'll see you through this long late.
This is Blasphemy to Christmas. Hipster mess. Weezer-ish. Yeah, I see. I think it's kind of catchy. Catchy Christmas song. So, thank you guys for enjoying that beautiful, well, I think it's kind of beautiful, music with me. All I want for Christmas is for Hake to play 90-pound Worcester Stretch Armstrong, says Top Beta's mama. What a name. Nice song, Hake, says King Drop. Thank you, man. Not Hake's Christmas music. Hake believes in emo music. Guys, we are back. This is the beginning. It's 10:04 a.m. You know, I started kind of late, but whatever. My apologies. Let me get to Kim, a first-time caller in Michigan. How are you doing, Kim? Thank you for holding.
Hi, Hake. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
I missed the show for a couple weeks, and I come back, and you don't have a beard, and Jesse's gone, and the whole world has been turned upside down.
I know. It's wild, huh? Things change fast.
So we just moved out to the area where that school shooting was, but
wow.
I was calling. Yes, Yes. So
Oxford Township,
huh? We actually moved. Oxford is in the county of Oakland, in Oakland County, and we moved to a county outside of that.
Oh, just outside of that. Okay. All right.
Yes. And no, just wanted to let callers and listeners know that Michigan is extremely corrupt. We're in a big mess here. That all the people here are connected. The Rhino Republicans, the Democrats, and Dana Nessel, the state attorney general, that she caused a dam to break in Midland, Michigan. She's openly attacked Rush Limbaugh, Christians, Catholics. Yep. She also went after the Christian adoption agencies.
Wow.
She's covered up the crimes of our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson.
Repeat the name of the Secretary of State.
Her name is Jocelyn Benson.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I remember that name. Yeah, I remember that name from during the 2020 thing. What do you mean by she caused the dam to break?
That there was a lake, a man-made lake, that the residents were wanting to drain the water.
Okay.
And Jocelyn Benson refused to let them drain the water out of the lake because there were mussels, some kind of endangered mussel or something. Yeah. So because they were not allowed to drain the lake levels, it caused the dam to break, and it flooded all of Midland, Michigan. This was near the time, I believe, when Trump was first voted into office.
Yeah.
It was pretty devastating to the community. So.
Wow. That's terrible.
Yeah. And then our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, her husband worked for the city of Detroit, and he did a whole bunch of illegal activity, which we may never know about because he illegally deleted all of these official emails.
Yeah.
And Dana Nessel has prevented any kind of investigation or charges. So it's very corrupt here.
Yeah. That's what a mess. I'm not really surprised because think about the biggest cities in Michigan. Well, Detroit for one. And that guy from Flint, Michigan. Was he from Flint? That fake documentary propagandist, fat guy.
Oh, Michael Moore.
Yeah, Michael Moore is from that area. And he's basically he's a communist. He's an evil person.
Madonna is from here. There's a lot of, weird, famous people from here. Coincidentally, right?
Yeah. What a shame. We need to fight back for America in the right way. In the right way.
Absolutely. Yep.
Get our metaphysical hands around your stinking necks. Make no mistake, you parasites. That's a quote from, that's the great Alex Jones. But, wow.
You love Alex Jones.
Yeah, me too. You said you love Alex? You love Alex?
Yes, yes.
Decent man. Well, I appreciate it, Kim. Hang tight over there. You have kids in the public schools over there, or?
No, I have a baby, but we would not be sending our kids to public schools, even if they were quote unquote good public schools, and we would not be sending them here. Yeah, and it's really misleading to say that Oxford is a suburb of Detroit. Like you said, that's like an hour drive to Detroit. It's not remotely close to Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who commute, maybe even to this day, long ways, but long ways? To this day! But less so than ever because of the shutdowns and the internet. It's not necessary anymore. And there's jobs that have expanded into those areas. So messy. That's what we get for having so much diversity and corruption and pushing evil. Do you know anything about these parents of this young man who did this crime, this mass murder?
I'm pretty much waiting for all the facts to come out.
Yeah, same here.
It seems as though they're doing their best. And I think in the beginning they were all taken aback by this. And I think now currently they're trying to, go after the parents and the NRA and, gun owners. So it took them a minute to get around to that. And I'm just sort of waiting for all the information to come out to really have an opinion about it, because I know, through Rittenhouse and other cases that they sometimes don't release information and try to deceive the public.
Yeah, that's for sure. I appreciate it, Kim. It's great to hear from you.
Hope to see your beard back.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback.
All right, goodbye.
Bye. Let me get to Scott in Columbus, Ohio. Scott, are you there?
I know. I had a.
I don't think that Scott's ready. The heck? Check on Scott for me there. We shall skip Scott for the time being. Messy women. Unrest is brewing in the House of so-called representatives, according to CNN, as two female Republican representatives, Lauren Boebert. She's that woman from, what is she, from Colorado? Yeah. And she carries a concealed weapon. She has a concealed handgun license, right? She had this whole almost said cartoon, this whole commercial about it, promoting herself as a pro-gun woman. And Marjorie Greene of Georgia, the married woman, she has kids, but she wants to be in Congress. I like her politics, but I don't like her being in politics, right? Continue to double down on racist, no such thing, and divisive, rhetoric. Divisive. Commie Nonsense Network and the Democrats complaining about divisive rhetoric. Give me a break. Reminds me of what they did to Trump. Boebert has unleashed a string of anti-Muslim remarks. Remarks against hijab-wearing Somali Muslim refugee SJW commie representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Boebert went after Ilhan Omar, implied she could be a terrorist or a terrorist sympathizer. JLP himself said she could have a bomb under that head rag, right? The headscarf, the hijab, implying she could be a terrorist or a terrorist sympathizer. Some people did something? That's Ilhan Omar. She supports Black Lives Matter, by the way. So therefore, yes, she does support terrorism. Scott was talking to somebody there. He said, sorry, I will get to him. Calling her and other lone Muslim representative the Jihad Squad. The other Muslim representative is Rashida Tlaib, the Palestinian woman she's from Detroit, I think. Speaking of how corrupt Michigan is, Rashida Tlaib, the one who said we're going to impeach the MFer, she called Trump a MFer right in front of her kid at a bar, I think, after she got elected, something like that. Crazy. Jihad Squad, their friend Dirty Women's Marcher, Linda Sauersure, a filthy woman, called opposing Trump jihad back in 2017. You may recall. What is the best form of jihad or struggle? Said Linda Sauersure, because she's a sour person. A word of truth in front of a tyrant, ruler, or leader. That is the best form of jihad, said Sauersure. She was talking to ISNA. ISNA? Is that the name of the organization? International, I forget what it was. But Islamic something North America. ISNA. A word of truth. I hope that when we stand in front of those who oppress our communities, lie, you're not being oppressed, that Allah accepts from us that as a form of jihad, we are struggling against tyrants and rulers, not only abroad in the Middle East or on the other side of the world, but here in these United States of America. This was during Trump's tenure. This was 2017. Where you have fascists, lie, and white supremacists, lie, no such thing, and Islamophobes, lie, no such thing, reigning in the White House. Reigning. Yeah, Trump was really reigning in the White House, reigning so much that there were all these leaks and subversion, including from his own son-in-law and his daughter. And he was truly reigning, wasn't he? This woman referring to our real president, Donald J. Trump, who loves everybody. Trump loves everybody. SJWs hate everybody. Vox, Washington Compost, and Time Magazine swooped in defense of her using the term jihad against Trump. And this same woman supported Black Lives Matter terror attacks in America against the innocent Darren Wilson. Way back she started Muslims for Ferguson, or she helped found it, Muslims for Ferguson. She's also part of the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, communists. She supports the Palestinian stuff, which some of you guys do. But she's an evil person. She hates white men. She has children, by the way, by an arranged. She had an arranged marriage. Did you know this? Linda Sarsour got an arranged marriage at 17. Has like 3 or so kids, maybe 5, living in a fancy white New York City, Brooklyn neighborhood. It's 2/3 white, which is more white than America. 13% Asian, which is more Asian than America. 16% Hispanic, which is about right. 2% black only. She supports BLM, Black Lives Matter, but doesn't live anywhere near blacks. That's Linda Sarsour. And she accuses her opposition of being, I was chuckling at this, she accuses her opposition of being alt-right Zionists. Anyway, back to this Lauren Boebert woman before I get back to Scott. Evil Ilhan Omar had a contentious phone call with her. And these are 2 women who don't belong in Congress, right? And here's another woman who doesn't belong in Congress. Ilhan Omar says she's very confident House Speaker, nervous Nancy Pelosi, will take action against Lauren Boebert. Bunch of women who don't belong. Except Lauren Boebert belongs more than any of them because she at least thinks a little bit more manly, a little bit more logical. So she's a Republican. At least she pretends to. She could get punishments like stripping her of committee assignments. Evil, huh? That's what they did to Steve King before they ousted him. They primaried him, these rhino Republicans. And they did it just now to our great representative, Paul Gosar of Arizona. Because he posted that anime thing where he cut the back of the neck of this big giant Alexandria Cortez. What a mess. Rhino Republican female representative Nancy Mace, I'd never heard of her before, criticized Lauren Boebert for her remarks. So Representative Marjorie Greene, this is all evil women. Well, some of them are less evil, right? Representative Greene, who regularly courts controversy with her inflammatory comments, meaning truthful statements, called Mace trash. Nice. Gotta love Marjorie Greene, kind of, in spite of myself. And vowed to support a primary challenge against Nancy Mace. Who ever heard of Nancy Mace? Anybody know who Nancy Mace is? A representative out of South Carolina's 1st Congressional District, 44 years old, married to Curtis Jackson. Is that 50 Cent? Is that 50 Cent? Curtis Jackson. 50 Cent. That's 50. But I don't think she's married to that 50 Cent. Nancy Mace's spouse, husband. Anyway, guys. See, I'm knowledgeable. Let me just double check the super chat. Oh, what's up, guys? Shout out to Asmodor over there with the beautiful Christian crosses and Christian, what is this thing? Christian rebel flag. Nice to see you guys. Yeah. Terrible stuff. Taking care of business bears, laughing about the Bloody Marys that evil woman, Dana Nessel, was touting drinking 2 of and needing to be wheelchaired out of a college football game. She's 52 years old, by the way. What a mess. Super chats, quick super chat. Jib Jab says, give us your best Alex Jones impression. Pretty pleased with the cherry on top. No, man. I don't want to do that. I'm not your clown. Forever Rochelle asks, why do you qualify it when you talk about Jews? You say only radical leftist Jews. No, I'm not. I don't say that. Because look at Ben Shapiro. He's a conservative Jewish guy, but then he hated Trump. So there's something, they got like a mental block or a spiritual blindness. When talking about them, you say blacks when you talk about one thing is bad. Please explain. And ain't no Jews, they white. Says Forever Rochelle. Forever Rochelle. Oh, yeah, because she's probably a black Hebrew Israelite. Anyway. Interesting. No, it's very typical. You're right. It's very typical of them to be anti-American. Even the so-called conservative ones. What a mess. I remember being surprised, and I am a fan of him, of Prager, Dennis Prager. At one point early on in the Republican campaign in 2016, he was anyone but Trump. That's a blindness. Later he came around, but so you're right. There is like I said, a spiritual blindness. Anyway, let's see. Let me get back to Scott in Columbus, Ohio. He is ready, I do believe, hopefully. How are you doing, Scott?
How are you doing, sir?
Doing fine, thank you. What's up?
So my question is, why is there evil in the world, right? Everyone thinks they have freedom of choice. Like if I come at you and try to correct you because I'm showing love,
yeah,
to correct your bad behavior, you come back at me and say, I don't have to do that, or something like that, right?
Right.
And it's like, then you got people out there protesting for the wrong reasons and thinking like that's their right to protest. And they're like, oh, well, I'm right, you know, but it doesn't mean you're right for the right reason. And it's like, sometimes it's evil when you go out and protest and you break glass and you steal. And
even when you don't steal or break glass, you can be evil. You can be protesting a fake issue like Black Lives Matter. You can be a completely peaceful, or the women's marcher, protesting for abortion, or protesting like Linda Sarsour smeared Darren Wilson. So yeah, but you're right. You asking me? Anyway, I interrupted you. Go on.
In a way, I am asking you.
Okay. You know what? It is a very good question. I will say, and this never really made a lot of sense to me. You know have you ever heard the so-called philosophical argument that evil allows us to recognize the difference between good and evil? Evil being in the world allows us to recognize good. Are you on a speakerphone or an Obama phone?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm on my old phone. I just got my new phone in the mail today.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we will give you some slack. But I think there may be some truth to that. For example, you don't appreciate health until you've gotten sick, for example. Or you,
right.
I mean, some people do. They're just thankful people. Or are they? They pretend to be. And then Nicolas, Jesse Lee Peterson's producer, used to be an atheist at one point. And then he recognized not so much the decency of Trump, but he recognized the over-the-top evil overreaction against Trump. And he's all, that's evil. That means Satan is real. That means God must be real. So I think that there is something to that. God allowed evil into the world.
Yeah.
And now it opens people's eyes or something. I don't know.
Well, I would go to Job, right? Job, in the end, it was all for the glory of God. That's what I've come across.
Okay.
The best answer is, like when you said it shows you right and wrong, and that's why there's that there, because, Proverbs talks about wisdom, how the wisdom will confound the I forget, it all that wisdom can even confound the smartest of men, Yeah. And so.
Yeah, it's interesting, the wisdom of the world versus the wisdom of God. It's kind of like the woman's fake wisdom, or this secularist or anti-Christian wisdom like Dana Nessel pushes and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Evil.
There's if I could add one more thing, there's a lady that I was kind of going back and forth with on LinkedIn, and she talks about passion.
LinkedIn,
She's like a CEO of a big company, and she wrote about passion in her book, and she promotes it and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd rather have wisdom over passion or experience any day of the week, because wisdom's, like you're going to sit back and absorb of what goes on without overreacting. And if you have passion, so much passion, you're not sure when to, cut your project off or your business. Oh, well, I'm so passionate about it. Or like when to sell the house when it's sinking, somewhere.
Yeah. True. Good point. Passion. You know who else had passion? That fat guy who used to rap, and he's dead now. And he's rapped about passion. Blackalicious. I'm blanking on his real name. Gab. Gift of Gab. He had passion, and he rapped about having passion. And that didn't... He died early. I think he was in his late 40s or early 50s or something, or mid 50s. That's too young to be dying, but that's passion. And he was pretty fat, to be honest. I liked the guy. But you're right. These women are pushing this passion stuff. And a lot of males are, too. And it's misguided.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. What?
One more thing. I would have to say, like, where you were leading, it goes to back what JLP always says about the feminine spirit and things like that. It's just evil.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway.
That's my last thing.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. It's great to hear from you.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Wow. Let me get to William in California. He wants to talk about the Jacob Blake situation. Remember Jacob Blake, the guy who got shot 4 times in the back and 3 times in the side? That's an update.
Yeah.
4 times in the back, 3 times in the side, because he was turning and maybe going to stab the cop. What's up, William? How are you?
Hey, good morning. How you doing, man?
Doing well, thank you.
How was your weekend?
It was great. I saw a good friend of mine, hung out, and I rested quite a bit, more than I realized that I was going to need to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How's Jesse?
He's doing well as well, resting up. I've been in contact with him here and there, and he's doing much. As of Friday, he was doing much better than earlier.
Great.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I wish you guys a Merry Christmas, everybody on chat as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Same to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you liked? I know you're a music fan, and you're not my music fan. How have you liked the Christmas music so far?
It was a little bit better. It was nice. It was okay. It was okay, Hake. I like music. I play the drums and everything. I give you a hard time about your music, but you're all good with me.
Cool.
Hake, Mr. Blake's uncle was arrested.
Oh yeah, I called him Jacob Blake. I meant blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he was arrested.
Oh really?
Got caught he went to the judge's apartment building or something and said that they are demanding that the cameras are allowed in the courtrooms and everything. And
wow.
They arrested him. He's supposed to be a Black Lives Matter. You mentioned Black Lives Matter. He's supposed to be a Black Lives Matter leader or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all coming to an end. I mean, we got about, 9-10 months?
Yeah.
They're getting radical. They're getting nervous, and they know that they're on their way out. I mean, it's pretty much they're going to probably, get the House. And they're going to keep the Senate.
Oh, you're talking about the Democrats.
Yeah, man,
yeah.
All of them up in there. They're going to. Alec goes at ALC. The one that you were just talking to, the couple that you were just talking to, the squad. They know they're gone.
That would be nice.
Funny, no, they're gone. They're gone. I mean, they're doing everything to not get reelected, and you can pretty much see how nervous they are. Because I mean, you got a lot of people like Black Lives Matter people,
right,
who are really black people who actually think this country is getting ready to change. You're so stupid. You don't even know that the midterms are coming. All this stuff is out the window, even the illegals.
Wow. Yeah, true.
They're getting deported. you know. And
that would be nice. Do you think they'll get deported?
They're getting deported, man. I mean, and New York is already trying to make them vote. They're not staying here. You got to go. And then San Francisco, I think last week they had a restaurant that had some employees that said they asked the police, they were having lunch there or something in North Beach, and they asked the police to leave because they were armed.
Wow.
They made them nervous.
Oh, gosh.
You know, what happened to the days where the police used to go to the donut shop and they used to just give them the coffee and the donut and say, man, here, you take this, man.
Where they loved the cops, you mean?
Well, you remember how they used to do police officers when they walk in a restaurant? They give them carte blanche and give them what they need and so they can get back on the beat and everything. You know, restaurants were the last people, businesses were the last people to give police problems because they need them.
True.
And, you know, the lady, is there Kim up in Michigan? Yeah, she's right about that corruption up in Michigan.
What a shame, huh?
That is the state that has the city that has all the black people running the educational system, and they found all the warehouses full of Harley Davidsons and fur coats with the children's computer money.
I had not heard that.
Oh, that was about 10 years ago. One of the mayors, I think, he went to prison and everything, but it's obvious. I mean, I love my black people.
Yeah.
But they don't act right. They're the worst acting people in the country right now. And don't let them run cities, states, and countries. They don't do it very well.
Yeah.
You know?
True.
Well, man, you guys take it easy. And just wanted to get that news out about Jacob Blake's uncle.
So is this a different... Okay, I'm looking at the... I just dragged in some...
I sent you an email.
Okay. Is this different from his arrest back in April of this year? Because he was arrested in April of this year, but I'm seeing like...
Was he arrested for trying to intimidate the judge?
Justin Blake and two other protesters were arrested on disorderly conduct charges, authorities said. All three men were... It was during a protest over the officer who returned to work. That was back in April 27th, 2021. So that was after the guy who shot... Jacob Blake, blah, 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 over in Kenosha.
Right.
Shout out to Big Bump.
I mean, she does have to be a little bit careful with her weapons, but Mr. Blake, if you look at the video, was completely out of line.
Yeah. It was a male. Wasn't it a male officer? I think it was a male officer.
It was a female and a male, but I think the woman was the one that shot him. She thought it was a taser.
No. This is talking about...
Oh, no,
different
right.
situation. Yeah.
You're talking about Jacob Blake, Blake is the one that's
crippled,
paralyzed.
Yeah, paralyzed from the waist down or whatever.
His uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's demanding cameras in the courthouse.
Oh, gosh.
I think she gave in on him and said she's going to allow him, but, I don't really like that because a lot of times people think, okay, they don't like this country, but then they turn around and say the First Amendment.
Oh, you're talking about, You're talking about George Floyd's honorary nephew, Cortez Rice, arrested in Waukesha for intimidating the Kim Potter judge.
Right.
Whoa. Okay.
There
are what's it? A bunch of criminals all over the place.
you know what?
Can't even keep our BLM hero criminals straight.
Oh, they're on their way out too. They're leaving. They won't be in Congress in a couple of years. Believe me. It is kind of corrupt how they do that, And I mean, they hate the country, but then the first thing they scream is the First Amendment.
Yeah.
And they don't even know how to read these amendments. They just pick and choose them at their time that they want them.
I know.
I mean, you do have the freedom of speech, but here's a good example. Do I get to curse in front of somebody's kid? No,
right.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, the First Amendment, you do have free speech, but not at the infringement of others.
Right. Yep.
See, they don't know how to, they think they know, but they don't.
They're evil. I appreciate
how can you not like the country and then the first thing you want to do is grab one of their amendments for your convenience?
Yeah. No, these people are sick. William, in California, it's great to hear from you, man.
You too, man. man. And God bless you and Jesse and everything. Keep up the music and everything, and tell everybody in the chat room I said hi.
Okay. Have a good day, man.
All right, buddy. Okay.
All right. Bye. John in Kentucky is on the line. Let me get to John. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing good.
Nice.
Hey, that last thing he said, you can't cuss in front of people's kids.
Right.
You agree with you agree with that?
I generally agree with it. With the exception of Trump. Trump gets to cuss.
So what about like hate speech?
No such thing as hate speech. What the heck? You're not a why are you pretending to be a Bible believer? You pretend to be a Bible believer, and then you bring up stuff like hate speech. What's hate speech?
I'm just, you guys contradict yourself so much.
Speech?
Like hate speech is like going to like a Klan rally and them screaming on the microphone, N-word this, N-word that, monkey this, monkey that.
This is an imaginary thing, of course, right? Because you've never even heard of, nobody here in America has heard of a Klan rally where they say N-word this, N-word that. So you just made something up. You just made up an imaginary scenario.
I'll bet you $10,000 right now. I can send you a link with Klan rallies doing that.
Okay, you just made up an imaginary scenario that nobody's ever heard of.
Even in Georgia, if
where
you
they're
go
shouting N-words.
Yes.
What a joke! What a joke!
That is not a joke.
You know,
hey,
you're a joke. You have black politicians smearing whites all over America, and you bring up Klan rallies, and you tell me I'm in a bubble.
Hate speech.
You're in a bubble. Speech. There's no such thing as hate speech, stupid. Sorry, kids. I called them stupid.
Hey, that's another thing,
how are you gonna bring up hate speech? You're a male. You are a grown adult male in your late 30s.
I was trying to make a point.
You failed.
Okay, so you don't want anybody cussing around kids, but you don't care if people are calling gay people faggot and stuff like that on the street.
Don't say that. I don't even let people.
Don't say what?
That's akin to cussing.
No, it's not. No, it's
yes,
not.
It is. It's akin to cussing. Yeah, it is. It's as far as I'm gonna hang up.
That's made up.
Of course, it's made up. I know it's made up, but the reality is the common culture, especially YouTube, does not allow you to use the F word for radical homosexual, and you know that. You trying to undermine my show?
Okay, fruitcake then. I can say fruitcake.
We already got your point. Why are you trying to press it? Blacks.
You said I didn't have a point, but anyway, hey, that's another thing.
You don't have a
point.
You
call it a family show.
Point.
You call it a family. You call it a family show.
It is a family-friendly show, and you're bringing up this imaginary hate speech.
You call it a family show,
and you're pretending that it's so bad that a white might use the N-word.
I don't really care.
Then why are you calling it hate speech?
I'm just.
Why are you calling it hate speech?
Because hateful people use that type of language.
You're a hateful person. You think blacks are better than whites?
I'm not getting on the Israelite talk if that's what you're trying to do.
No, you don't have to. You already did. Everybody knows that you think that you're a black Hebrew Israelite and you hate white people.
I know I am.
Yeah, see? Look, and you hate white people. You think you're better than white people.
Tell Nick.
I'm not telling Nick anything.
Yeah,
I'm not telling Nick anything. You don't even know Christ.
Look, you say it's a family show.
It is.
But shouldn't kids be at school during your show though?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they are at school because homeschool.
So they take a break.
No, my show is an educational show. I talk about current events.
Oh my God! So you are dumbing down America.
No, how am I dumbing? You're the one listening.
Because your show is really not real. It's really just an entertainment hour or 2 hours.
What else is a show? What else is a show? But it's also educational. I talk about stuff that's happening.
It's definitely not educational.
Did you know what I told you about? Did you hear what I said about Dana Nessel?
Who?
Dana Nessel.
Don't know who that is.
See, you don't listen. You don't know that my show is educational.
I don't listen to your whole show.
Yeah, that's how you know that. That's how you don't know that it's educational.
It's not educational because every time I get on here,
anybody who listens to my show learns stuff about Dana Nessel that they didn't know.
I guarantee you can't have one kid call up and tell what Dana Nessel is, whatever that is.
Dana.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, she's a true Israelite.
Oh, she's Jewish.
Right. Which means she's a true Hebrew Israelite. Not like you.
She wishes she was a Jew. She wishes she was a Jew.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, but what do you think should happen to the kid that shot up the school and killed them 4 kids?
Maybe death penalty.
Really?
Yeah. Should be pretty swift.
Dang,
if he's actual. You agree?
I didn't expect you to say that.
You agree?
Death penalty? No, man. No, not death penalty.
What do you think?
Just let him rot. Let him grow up so he can think about what he did.
You might be right. I don't know. He's 15 years old. Do you know anything about why they charged him with terrorism?
I know about domestic terrorism. I mean, that's the only thing I could link it to. You know, it's on American soil and it's a tragic act. So, I guess
it's a big move for sure to try to want to shoot up a school. But this type of stuff, you should charge the media with it because the media promotes this stuff. You know, they inspire copycat crimes.
They report it. I don't know about inspire it. I mean, each individual has their own decision-making ability.
If they were, yeah, I totally agree about the individual responsibility and decision-making and stuff. But if you think about it, they glamorize it. They hype it to push an attack on guns. So they hype the drama about it and all that stuff. And, you know, it's a sensational thing. Sensationalism gets more views. So they hype it to get more views and to push their agenda. And they like when this stuff happens because they want to go after people's gun rights.
Because white people do it.
Right. Yeah. And especially when white people do it, they want to go after people's gun rights. When black people do it, they still want to go after gun rights. But they don't publicize it as much when blacks do it.
Do black people shoot up the school like that?
A little bit. Not always, but a little bit.
That's a white thing.
You say that. I don't think it's definitely not white on the inside to shoot up a school. It's a black-hearted, evil, dark.
I'm talking about your
dark.
I'm talking about your quote-unquote race.
Dark, black-hearted, sinful act.
So, like, you look like the type. You look like the type to shoot up a school when you was in high school.
That's because you hate white people. Yeah, I know I have kind of wild eyes sometimes.
Man,
somebody said you have wild eyes.
I really don't hate white people. I really don't hate white people, man. I just like.
I mean, you hate everybody. You don't even love black people, honestly. You don't even love your own family. Black people. You don't even love your own family.
You just like to say stuff.
Huh?
You just like to say stuff, man. You don't really believe the things you be saying.
You don't have love in your heart. You're deluded. Anyway, we got to move on. Great talking with you, John.
You just like to blabber, man. You be wasting time. I'll be calling about some stuff I want to say, and then you just
go ahead.
blabbering.
I didn't know that you still had something to say. Go ahead.
No, I mean I don't have anything to say. I'm just all in a ball of I don't know now. You know
okay. What a mess. Yeah. I understand that feeling. Like talking to my wife if I had one. Take care, John.
You'll never have a wife.
Whatever. What a meanie. What a meanie. All right. This man is an evil person, says Jesuit Crook. Jesuit Crook calling another man an evil person. Before I get back to calls, guys, I have Mike in Michigan, Rick from Maine, and Kevin in Chicago, Illinois wants to talk about that Santa Inc. movie. We'll get our metaphysical arms around your stinking necks. Make no mistake, parasites. That's my best Alex Jones impression, jib jab. Sorry. Anyway, I want to talk about this CRT or CNN, I should say. Same thing. CNN, CRT, Critical Race Theory, Comedy Nonsense Network, same thing, am I right? And they think that they're news. Anti-American commies are scared of China. Give me a break. These people are evil, attacking evil China. CNN reports U.S. officials are closely eyeing China's advancements in both military might and space capabilities. You know how Trump started the Space Force? And then it was quickly subverted. Oh my gosh. quickly subverted by anti-American people. It's no secret the two countries are highly competitive, and Black Affirmative Action Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, fox guarding the henhouse. If you want the military to excel, you don't put Lloyd Austin in charge of the military. He said the U.S. isn't afraid to address China's military rise, whatever that means. China recently tested a hypersonic weapons system, you may have heard. They're rapidly building up nuclear arsenal, aiming for at least 1,000 warheads by 2030. Dang. Wow. Corrupt Washington, D.C. and corrupt Beijing are at odds over corrupt Taiwan, which claims to be independent of China. And I believe it, right? The target of several displays, Taiwan is, of Chinese military force. They've been making displays right in front of Taiwan, acting like we're going to push you around. General David D. Thompson is vice chief for space operations in the U.S. Space Force, and he says China is developing its space capabilities at, quote, twice the rate, unquote, of the United States. I guess maybe because they're still at the bottom. They could build it up at twice the rate. I don't know. Could overtake the U.S. by the end of the decade. So he wants more money and job security, right? I don't know. David D. Thompson. You will recall, I might have some pictures of this. Matthew Lohmeyer. Remember Matthew Lohmeyer? CRT guy? This guy? Looks like my little cousin. Looks like my little cousin. Matthew Lohmeyer, Lieutenant Colonel. He was a commander in the U.S. Space Force. He was removed from his post last year, I think, after blasting, maybe it was earlier this year. Yeah, it was earlier this year because it's 2021, and this was under the sleepy Biden administration, under the evil black guy, Lloyd Austin, blasting diversity and inclusion training, DIE, diversity, inclusion, and equity, DIE, in the military as critical race theory rooted in Marxism. Matthew Lohmeyer criticizing anti-American CRT being pushed on the military, including Lloyd Austin. Remember, guys? Lloyd Austin, the black defense secretary? He hadn't even been 7 years out of the military, which he's supposed to be in order to be qualified to be Secretary of Defense. But no, they got rid of him. I mean, they put him in because the Senate are cowards. Senate, including Republicans, cowards. He called people racist and rooted out American patriots, extremists, from the military, and teaching the failing New York Slimes' 1619 Project, which Lohmeyer calls America's founding white supremacists. Like that's a real thing, and like that's a bad thing. White supremacists, give me a break. This commie stuff is so female. Women are so evil, huh? They believe in, like what my previous caller believes in, hate speech, and conjures up these imaginary KKK rallies where they're calling N-words all the time on a loudspeaker. Oh yeah, that's hate speech. It should be censored for children. When have I played a KKK rally? Have you ever heard of a KKK rally recently? I don't know. I don't think I have. And I don't know if they were saying the N-word. And if they were, this is America. Well, just being these females or communists, liberals, faking innocence and niceness and fairness while just being anti-good, anti-God, anti-anyone of truth and justice. So fake. Think about the people who've been the most censored and marginalized in America. They're basically just Christians, whites, men, and then a couple of non-Christian whites, like that one guy, Richard Spencer. U.S. trust, according to Revolver News, in the military is cratering, by the way. By the way, this guy, Lohmeyer, he wrote this book called Irresistible Revolution, Marxism's Goal of Conquest and the Unmaking of the American Military. So he wrote that book, and he appeared on a podcast criticizing Lloyd Austin and all that stuff. And this guy, Stephen Whiting, ousted him, relieved him of command due to a lack of trust, loss of trust and confidence in his ability to lead, the Space Force said. So Trump invented the Space Force, and then Biden comes in and gets rid of everybody decent from it. So sick. According to Revolver News and Task and Purpose, Americans used to trust the military more than the rest of the government, but now even that's fading. increasingly viewing the military as an institution through the lens of partisan politics. And because Democrats don't believe in right and wrong, they believe in politics. And same thing with the evil rhinos. Sick stuff. The military trust and confidence in the military dropped from 70% to 45% in just the past 3 years. Crazy. A steep 11 percentage point drop just since February. That's Biden. So it's not just the liberals who are smearing Trump. It's sick. Anyway, let me get to Rick in Maine. Been on hold for some time, wants to talk about the Michigan school shooting. Rick, how are you?
Not bad. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, thank you.
All right. Now I'll give a quick shout out to William out there in California. I really enjoy him when he gets on here. But I got a few comments for Mr. John.
Okay.
If you are so against all of this hate, why are you people killing your own, burning cities down, killing other people, injuring other people? That's not hate. I think you better wake up and get a heavy shot of adrenaline in the left cheek.
Adrenaline.
Because you are so dead wrong, John.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. You follow a false god.
Yeah. He thinks Nick is his brother in Christ. I don't think Nick is brothers with
No.
I don't think Nick is brothers with in spirit at all with this guy. Crazy.
Not hardly. And anybody else that
Nick is an Israelite.
Right. And I'm Joseph.
According to
I'm Joseph Stalin. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
These people that killed, well, you might as well say they killed those kids because they bought a minor a handgun. Number one. Number two, it was not properly secured. Number three, these people ran. You run.
You're talking about the parents?
Yes. If you run from the law, that's an automatic admission of guilt.
I don't know.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that right down to even just traveling on the highway.
Well, I watched this Hollywood movie, The Fugitive, and he was innocent. With Harrison Ford.
That's a movie. Okay.
All right.
Do you drive, James? Do you drive?
Yes.
Okay. You know that if you're speeding and you pass a cop and you hit the brakes, that's an automatic admission of guilt.
Interesting.
That's how finite this can be broken down to. So if you run from the law,
yeah,
you're guilty until proven innocent.
Wow.
And people like George Floyd and all these others that have bucked the system when they turn around and they get themselves into deep doo-doo.
Bucked the system.
Because they insist on combating law enforcement when they're asked to do something.
Yeah.
If they're asked at first to do something.
Right.
You don't comply, the officer starts getting a little bit upset, then emotions rise, things escalate, and the next thing you know, you've got the situation like Mr. Floyd.
Yeah.
That officer is in prison for no reason.
You're talking about Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, Chauvin. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was doing his job. That man was.
I think I agree with you, man. That was a kangaroo court.
Yeah. That man was a space cadet from Pluto. He was so spaced out, he didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And yet, the people that are in the courts, they play on everybody's emotions.
Right.
to get these ridiculous outcomes.
Yeah, I really agree with you, man. Rick, I got to run. I apologize for cutting it short, but I didn't realize how short on time we are, and I want to get to some more calls, but I appreciate you, man.
That's all right, brother. Take care.
Merry
God
Christmas.
bless.
You too.
Get well, Jesse.
Yes.
We miss you.
Yep. Thank you again. Quickly, let me get to Kevin in Chicago, Illinois. Kevin, how are you doing?
Pretty good. The Santa Eve controversy with Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman.
Wasn't that disgusting? I played that for you guys last week. Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman, secularist, Jewish, not Christians, hate white men, and believe in racism and sexism. Sick people. And that guy is such a simp. What did you want to say?
It's funny. The people knew what was going on. The people understood. They know. But the mainstream conservative commentators, they were all, as usual, limp-wristed sissies, the way they explained it. They're saying, it's social justice warriors. Oh, this woke nonsense. It's
right.
Woke. No, what it was two Jews hating on a Christian holiday.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for centuries, this hatred. You know, they're not afraid to say, "Oh, black people, they hate white people." They're not afraid to say that. But when it comes to Jews, they're so afraid. They're just so afraid to tell it like it is. I was listening to some commentator, Matt Walsh, at the Daily Wire. He goes, "They're a Christian holiday. They're hating on it by two non-Christians." And then he goes on to talk about Islam. Imagine if they were making fun of Islam. Why can't you just bring up Hanukkah? Why can't you do that?
Right.
Because his boss, Ben Shapiro, will lay down the hammer on him, the Hebrew hammer down on him. That's what they are. All these people are just a bunch of bought and paid for shills. They don't want to call it like it is. And then did you see Sarah Silverman, she put out a little video talking about a Shabbos Goy, just mocking us right in our face.
Yeah.
This video about a Shabbos Goy. Oh, what a good Goy. It's like, oh my gosh, these people are so brazenly in your face, so bold.
You know why? Because, like you said, Christians are weak and don't fight back. It's just like why whites and men are pushed around too, and they're called haters when they're the least hateful people. The men are the least hateful people. The women are much more hateful than the men. The whites are the least hateful. They're the nicest people. They're pushed around. Too nice. They're pushed around. Christians are too nice.
I disagree because this is it. The people, the common people know. If you read the comments, everybody knew what was going on. They knew these two Jews, this vulgar, blasphemous nonsense, hating on a Christian holiday, the most special holiday celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Everybody knew what was going on. But it's the people who are getting hold on. It's the people who are getting paid. It's the people who are getting paid that are put in the forefront with the media opportunities. They're the cowards. They're the bought and paid for it. But the common people, they know what's up. They know what's going on. It's just the people. Just like they said, they would put people in power, careerists. They're going to put people in power who would turn the other cheek and not tell
that may
it
be.
like it is.
But man, I really think that the weakness is more far-reaching than you may realize, even amongst the normal, common people. Because you and I may talk tough, but when push comes to shove, and with the small things in life, we have to live up to what's right and fight the battles amongst the evil women and males in our lives and in our own souls. So we have to, I think that the people in power are a reflection. Yeah, they are the worst of us, but they're also kind of a reflection of how corrupt the country is. It is endlessly shocking to me that we have Dana Nessel as an attorney general for the state of Michigan, or that we had cackling Kamala Harris as this attorney general, or that beta governor Newsom. But in a sense, that's what your friends are, your liberal friends. And that's what we've let happen. So I don't know. I think that we have to really examine ourselves and overcome so we can become overcomers and leaders ourselves. But I appreciate it, man. It's good to hear from you, Kevin. He went silent. My hand is not on the thing. Kevin, I appreciate you, man. Take care. Yeah, people blaming Soros, but the DAs are elected, and Soros was definitely funding them, but funding doesn't buy votes exactly. Well, anyway, what a mess. Well, thank you guys. We are over time, even though I did start late. I gotta end. This has been the Hake Report. The Hake Report. I should be back tomorrow, guys. We'll let you know. Keep you up to date. JLP is continuing to rest and improve, and he'll be back stronger than all of us. Thanks, guys. Take care.